Fear does not announce its arrival. It seeps in quietly, like a shadow stretching at dusk. At first, it feels reasonable, protective even. But before you realize it, fear has taken the wheel, and your heart is no longer driving. There comes a moment in every life when fear begins to speak, louder than truth, when uncertainty crowds out peace, when the future feels heavier than the present, when questions multiply faster than answers. And in that moment, a choice stands before you, not between safety and danger, but between fear leading and faith leading. Fear is a voice, not a mast. Our fear feels powerful because it speaks convincingly. It knows your memories. It remembers your wounds. It replays your failures with perfect clarity. Fear says, what if this goes wrong? What if you're not enough? What if God doesn't show up this time? But fear is not wisdom. It is not prophecy. It is not authority. Fear is a voice, but it was never meant to be your leader. Left unchecked, fear does not merely warn. It rules. It reshapes your decisions, shrinks your vision, and redefines your identity. Soon, you are no longer choosing what is right. You are choosing what feels safest, and safety, when governed by fear, often becomes the greatest danger to faith. Fear enters where trust, W-A-K-N-S fear, thrives where trust grows thin, not because God has changed, but because our grip on Him loosens when the path ahead disappears, when outcomes are unclear. Fear fills the silence. When control slips away, fear rushes in to replace it. When understanding ends, fear claims the unknown as its territory, yet Scripture never presents fear as the opposite of danger. It presents fear as the opposite of trust. Faith does not deny risk. Faith denies fear. Final word. Faith is not the absence of fear. Many believe faith means never feeling afraid, but faith is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move despite it. The presence of fear does not mean your faith is weak. It means you are human. Faith does not silence fear. Immediately, it places fear in its proper position. Fear may knock at the door. Faith decides whether it gets a seat at the table. When fear takes over, vision, sacharan kasfia, narrows your world. What once felt possible now feels reckless. What once felt hopeful now feels naive. What once felt inspired now feels dangerous. Fear convinces you to settle, to retreat, to stay small. It disguises caution as wisdom and comfort as obedience. But God has never shaped destinies through fear-driven choices. Every step of faith in Scripture required movement through uncertainty, not around it. Faith sees what fear sees no to fear, looks at circumstances. Faith looks at God. Fear measures strength by what is visible. Faith measures strength by who is present. Fear asks, what if I fall? Faith asks, what if He holds me? Faith does not deny reality, interprets reality through the lens of God's character. When fear takes over, perspective collapses. When faith leads, perspective widens. Fear makes you forget who is with, why you're one. Of fear's greatest tactics is isolation. It makes you feel alone in the storm, alone in the decision, alone in the uncertainty. But faith remembers something fear always tries to erase. You are not walking alone. God's presence does not fluctuate with your emotions. His nearness does not depend on your confidence. He does not step back when fear steps in, even when fear takes over. God does not leave. He waits for faith to rise again. Letting faith lead is an act of surrender. Leadership begins with surrender, not surrender to circumstances, but surrender of control. Fear demands control. Faith releases it. Fear insists on guarantees. Faith trusts without them. Letting faith lead means admitting, I don't see the whole path, but I trust the one who does. This surrender is not weakness, it is alignment. Fear runs on imagination. Faith runs on prome. Fear imagines futures without God. Faith remembers promises with Him. Fear projects worst-case scenarios. Faith anchors in eternal truth. Fear asks, what if everything falls apart? Faith asks, what if God is working through this? Faith does not need to know how, it needs to know who, when faith leads. Courage, FOLOWS. Courage is not FEARLESSNESS. Courage is obedience in the presence of fear. When faith leads, courage becomes possible not because danger disappears, but because God becomes greater than it. Courage grows not from confidence in yourself, but from confidence in the one leading you. Fear reacts. Faith, RSPONDSVA, reacts. Impulsively, faith responds intentionally. Fear rushes, faith waits. Fear demands immediate relief. Faith trusts long-term purpose. Letting faith lead means slowing down enough to hear God's voice above fear's noise. God does not lead through fear. God may warn, but He does not terrify. He may convict, but He does not paralyze. He may challenge, but He does not dominate. Fear-driven decisions rarely reflect God's character. Where God leads, peace may not remove danger, but it steadies the heart. Faith reminds you of what fear forges. Fear forgets history, faith remembers it. Fear forgets past deliverance, faith recalls every rescue. Fear focuses on what could be lost. Faith remembers what has already been given. When fear takes over, memory fades. Faith restores remembrance. The battle is not around you, it is within you. The greatest storm is not external. It is the internal struggle between fear and trust. The circumstances may remain unchanged, but the leadership of your heart determines everything. Letting faith lead does not change the storm. Immediately it changes you within it. Faith leads one step at a time. Faith rarely reveals the entire journey, it reveals the next step. Fear demands clarity. Faith accepts direction. You do not need the full map, you need obedience for the next move. When faith leads, peace follows not. EXP, peace is not the result of understanding. It is the result of trust. When faith leads, peace settles even before answers arrive, not because questions vanish, but because God's presence outweighs them. God is not waiting for your fear to disappear. Our God is not waiting for you to become fearless. He is waiting for you to trust Him with your fear. Faith does not require perfection, it requires participation. Bring your fear with you, just don't let it lead. The final KX fear will always offer itself as a guide. It will promise safety, predict disaster, and demand control. But faith offers something greater, God Himself. When fear takes over, you do not defeat it by force. You defeat it by choosing a different Leader, let faith lead your thoughts. Let faith lead your thoughts. Let faith lead your decisions. Let faith lead your steps. Because fear can shout, but faith stands. And when faith leads, even in the storm, you will not be lost. Fear may rise, fear may roar, fear may try to take over, but it does not get the final word. When fear takes over, let faith lead you.